So I can now reveal the winner of the 2022 World Cup, according to Football Manager, is England. Yeah, I know. Every year this happens in Football Manager. Every year England are really, really good. They won the final after extra time. In the final, France went down a man after 5 minutes. Lucas Hernandez with a moment of madness. James Justin got the winner in extra time. Did any of our players play a role? Well, Tomori had a pretty good World Cup. He played the vast majority of the games for the nation. Elsewhere, Calvert-Lewin didn't even get to play in the final. He sat on the bench waiting to be called up. His name was never read out. He still had an okay World Cup. 2 goals, 1 assist. Didn't actually start a match, but a super sub who bailed England out once or twice. Yeah, that's kind of what happened with the World Cup. I feel like it's very predictable, isn't it? England are just always good in this competition. But yes, folks, I hope you're keeping well. We're back here. This is episode number 11 of our Newcastle Let's Play. Today, we're taking on Leeds United. Leeds United are the most broken team in the beta, and I don't really know why. So last year, they finished 4th in the Premier League. How did they get on in the Champions League, you might wonder? They won their group, and they got out of it with Ajax. PSG finishing 3rd. Yeah, I have been trying to work out what's up with Leeds. I've got a few theories. My leading theory at the moment is that it is just their crazy, work rate and also stamina. Their players have some crazy stamina, which I think makes the pressing pretty effective. Of course, we know that that's been tweaked in Football Manager. But also when it comes to their mentals, the work rates are really good on their players. Of course, we are playing in a beta match engine. I expect some updates, but maybe work rate and stamina is a pretty good route to go down this year. If Leeds have been particularly good in your save game, please let me know about it. I've seen a few people mention it. As for ourselves, of course, we've played quite a lot of football since we last here, and it has been a long while. It is the middle of January. If we just look at the games since you were last here, and we are going to hide friendlies, we played against a whole host of teams during the winter break. This is our fixtures for the year. This is how things are looking. Of course, last episode, we ended things with a defeat against Arsenal, but since then, some pretty good results, all things considering. In the Conference League, we made it out the group. We actually finished top in our group, which was great to see. And because we finished top of the group, we don't go into the first knockout round. We go into the second knockout round. This first knockout round of the Euro Cup 2 is played, I believe, between the teams who finish second in their group and teams who finished 3rd in their Europa League groups who have dropped down a competition. So it's 2 less games for us to play across the 2 legs, which is nice. As for the Premier League, we looked very good. We ended things prior to the World Cup with a 3-0 win against Southampton. Adeyemi, Calvert-Lewin and Mukiele with the goals, and then we followed it up with another win, this time against Fulham. Calvert-Lewin with a hat-trick. Yes, he has found his shooting boots again, I feel like. He looked very, very good in front of goal. Of course, last year was probably our standout man. He won signing of the season at the club. This year, not quite lived up to the same standards, but he's still doing a pretty good job, all things considering. He went away to the World Cup, as did a few of our players, and then we came back and we had some really good results. We beat Leicester 2-1, but let's be honest, that's not the one that stands out here. We beat Man U FC 5-1. Let's watch the highlight, shall we? This was fun. This game, by the way, absolutely bonkers. At home against United, expected a good battle. We got off to a very good start, and Almada has been so good for us this year. We took the lead early on. Who scored for United? Of course, it was Mikel Merino against his former club. Very fortunate rebound, but he found the back of the net. I was cursing. There might have been some swearing, but not for too long, because just 15 minutes later, Gabby was there for a free header. And Thiago Almada from set pieces has just been so good for us. Last year, we lacked a set piece taker. This year, Almada's been that man, especially in the last kind of month or so. He's been absolutely top drawer. Gabriel Barbosa as well has looked lethal, as you can see here. We did not take our foot off the gas. Almada grabbed a goal of his own after a couple of assists, and late on in the game, you thought it was all over at 4-1. Of course it blooming wasn't. Gabby was lurking away at the back post, and it was, found the back of the net. We finished 5-1. I'm kind of lost for words. It was such a good game. It was one where I'm kind of annoyed I didn't live commentate it, but it did feel like a bit of retribution after that first game of the start of the series where we lost 3-0 against them and we were the better team. This game we dominated. We looked amazing. We took our chances. Barbosa with 2. Almada finished man of the match with a 9.8. And yeah, he's going to be starting at centre attacking mid today, funnily enough. Couple of games to start the start of January. We took on Aston Villa. This was a bit of a fall from grace. It finished 1-1. After our previous game, I expected us to win it. We didn't look very good in this game, although Almada did get the goal again. And then most recently, we beat Stoke 3-1. Rotated the team quite a bit. Of course, squad management continues to be at the kind of front of my focus. And I'm pleased to report we got through that game. We're still in the FA Cup. Maybe we can go on a run. We've been drawn in the next leg against West Brom, a game we really should be winning. Now, of course, the January transfer window is open. We have £23.6 million in the bank. I did ask the board for some budget increases. They didn't grant those, but what they did grant was further improvements to our facilities, our youth level, and also our youth recruitment. I feel like when you're establishing a club like we are here in Newcastle and we have all this money, the long-term investment is always really, really important. Getting the best youth recruitment we can get, getting the best junior coaching, getting the best training facilities. And, well, maybe it's starting to pay off, because if we just look at our youth intake preview, it's an excellent intake. It's a 4.5-star intake, I want to say. It might be 5-star. For some reason in the beta, I can't read the stars. We have the bottom of them. You can use your imagination to see the top half. What I'm very excited about is wingers and attacking midfielders. Although apparently we only have one player in each of these positions, according to the new youth intake preview, they've been given very good grades. So my expectations are sky high right now. If you played FM last year, you'll know that often you got told you were getting a golden generation and then they were all rubbish. I'm hoping that Steve Harper's not lying to me. On the transfer front, despite the window opening, I've not delved into the market just yet. Of course, we already spent a lot of money this year, have looked at the possibility of possibly selling on some players with some interest in them, some players wanting to leave the club. Dummett wants to leave, Jamal Lascelles wants to leave. I think also, if we just find him, St. Maximan wasn't very happy. Where are you, St. Maximan? I'm used to him being towards the top. Is he near that? He is still near the top. He's not very happy with his first team football. To be honest, Almada's just been playing too well to justify dropping him. And whilst St. Maximan is very, very quick, just from a creative perspective, he's nowhere near as good as Almada. If we just look at the underlying numbers here, you can see the statistics. Almada's just been in red-hot form. It's difficult to justify dropping him at the moment. At the same time, St. Maximan's unhappy. No one's really interested. He did recently agree to drop his playing time to Impact sub. So maybe he'll stop crying and he'll just decide he's happy sooner or later. Last episode, we talked about Adeyemi. He was unhappy at the club. He's happy again now. He's looked at the league table and gone, you know what, we're doing okay, Gaffer. I'm happy to stay for now. And when we look at the league table, it's hard not to look at it with a bit of a smile on our faces. Of course, we are playing Leeds United today, a Leeds team who did just beat Manchester United, who are now down in 6th. We have got 2 games in hand on a few of the teams above us, and in fact 3 games in hand on Arsenal. If we win them all, we could rocket right up the league. That's not really how these things play out, but a win against Leeds today puts us in pole position for a Champions League spot. I say all of that. We're not even halfway through the season yet. I'm so used to being midway through January and being, towards the back half of the season. We're not even there. We've played 16 games. It's absolutely mad this year. Whilst it's not the halfway point in the season, I still think it's a pretty good chance here just to look at some of the top performers, who's doing well statistically in the team. If we look at things here, Adeyemi leading the goal scoring charts, 13 goals to his name. He's looked very, very good this year. You can see his recent form's been particularly impressive. A 7.68 rating in his last 5 games. Gabriel Barbosa as well has looked really, really good. 3 goals, 2 assists in his last 5 games. He has kind of come out of nowhere this year. 7 appearances in the Premier League. He's got, on average, a goal contribution in all of those. A 7.46 rating. He's kind of getting to the point now where if he keeps playing as he is, Calvert-Lewin might have to drop out the team. I say all of that. Calvert-Lewin looked in danger and he's really stepped up himself. A 7.64. What I would say is some of these better performances came before the World Cup, so they were a little while ago now. We have constantly rotated things to keep players fit. I've already bigged up Thiago Almada. 5 goals, 8 assists. He looks really, really good at centre attacking mid, and whilst a lot of his assists are coming from set pieces, he's just the best set piece taker, so he kind of justifies being on the pitch, I feel like. Elsewhere, you can see Tolisso look very, very good. He had a few really kind of bright patches at the start of the year. More recently, he's been a little less convincing. A 7.18 rating in his last 5 games. Elsewhere, we have, of course, Ransford Yeboah. He got off to a flying start at the club. not doing so well as of late, but for the under-23s, he's doing bloody brilliantly. He is the top goal scorer with 12 goals. For people wondering how the under-23s looking, we're currently top of the North English under-23 Division 3. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend I understand how the youth football system works in England, but it sounds impressive being top, and lots of our players dominating the average ratings, including Bright Ari MB, who has had an injury as of late. I'm still hoping he might be the Mukiele of the left-hand side. He does need to start developing a little bit quicker if he wants to really achieve that. Going back to the first team, and speaking of the Devil, Mukiele's been top draw this year at wide centre-back. 4 assists, 3 goals. He has looked really, really impressive. He was a big part of France's World Cup squad that got to the final and lost to England, as we saw. He's been particularly impressive this year, I feel like, playing at wide centre-back. The kind of player who could very easily slot in at right-back, and has slotted in at right-back, to be fair, on occasion. Elsewhere, Musiala. He's not injured, but with Almada doing well, he's kind of lost his spot in the first team. There is still interest in him. Of course, he had a release clause in the summer. If you watch the transfer special, you remember that. I am still trying to get rid of the release clause. It's still just locked in at the moment. If I finalise the promises, he wants a £100 million release clause. I'm hoping Champions League football this year will persuade him that actually he should stay at the club. I'm also hoping, really, that no one's going to come and trigger that clause in what remains of January. So far, it has been a little quiet on the transfer offer front. In terms of players who have not been quite so good this year, Aaron Hickey, look, we brought him in for £10 million, either-footed, can play on both the left and right-hand side, just a useful squad player as much as anything. I feel like he's given away 3 penalties. He's been a bit of a calamity since he joined the club. 4 appearances in the Premier League, a 6.55 rating. Jamal Lewis has started to play again at left-back when I need a rotated left-back. That kind of gives you an idea of the situation. Callum Wilson is still here. West Ham might be interested. They're not really making any offers. Maybe I'll drop my asking price before the transfer window closes. He's played 4 games this year. He's not scored in any of them. Maybe I'm not giving him enough opportunities, but from a goal-scoring perspective, we've been quite good this year. I mean, if we just look at the league table and goals for, you can see here we've got 33 goals in 16. Of course, we've played fewer games than the teams above us. Defensively as well, we've looked very, very solid. Only 12 goals conceded. So I've been told by some people you want to see a bit more of the data hub. I've been using it very passively as I go through the save game. But in terms of where we're statistically looking good, you can see things here. We are very, very good, except when it comes to our pass completion, which is kind of to be expected. I feel like in general our pass completion has always been a bit meh. I've been looking at it and I think I've identified an area that I probably should have identified a little bit sooner. I'll hold my hands up. I've been a bit, not lazy, but I just didn't look into it as much as I should. I was sat looking at the pass completions thinking, well, where are we losing all our passes? Livakovic's pass completion is 53%. That is absolutely awful. 53% of the time he distributes the ball, we lose it. Or, no, we complete it. 47% of the time we lose it. Son of an accountant here. Yeah, I'm sure my dad's really proud of me. So what are we doing to remedy that? I have now switched Livakovic to take shorter kicks and to distribute it to our centre-backs. Of course, one of the big advantages of playing free centre-backs is there's always going to be someone free for the keeper to give it short to. No matter what we come up against, there's a high degree of possibility that one of the centre-backs is going to be open. There's not many people in Football Manager who play with free strikers. So in terms of playing the ball out from the back, it feels like a little bit of a no-brainer. It should be one of our strongest aspects. The fact that Livakovic has struggled so much is actually quite troubling. So as a result, shorter kicking, hopefully it's not going to result in us giving the ball away in really disadvantageous areas really early on in play. You know, their strikers cutting out passes and such. I mean, when you look at our defenders' kind of ball-playing ability, 14 passing on Martinez. Tomori's isn't terrible either at 13. And as for Mukiele's, his is at 13 too. We should be very good at passing it out from the back. So Livakovic, stop booting it forward, give it shorter. Fingers crossed, we're going to see a bit of a swing in terms of the amount of possession and passes that we complete per game. Our tackles are really weird. I love the fact our assistant just says our tackle numbers are quite clearly very unusual. Yeah, few tackles, but we do strong tackles when we do them. We win the most tackles in the league, but with a really high percentage, we just don't try and tackle too much. Of course, we're sat on regroup, so one thing that we do as part of our tactical system is just sit back. We like to drop as many men behind the ball as we can when we don't have the ball, then look to break with our fast technical players on the attack. The data hub suggests that is at least working for us at the moment. So with our opposition today, we're taking on Leeds United. I talked about their stamina and work rate and the reason I think that's why they're so good. It's worth noting that defensively, they are pretty outstanding. You can see they block a lot of shots per game, they concede very few chances per game, and they don't have to clear the ball too much. They are really good at holding on to the ball. Apparently, they're going to try and play a possession-based style. I think for that reason, our kind of dropping back system should work quite well here. We're going to make it difficult for them to break us down. They complete a lot of passes, they create a lot, they like to get their shots in the penalty area. I'm really hoping that today, with our three at the back, with Zakaria at ball-winning midfielder, we're not going to afford them that time and space in the area to get chances away. And, also, when we're being pressed, hopefully we can break that press, get in behind, cause them some issues on the break. I feel like today I've given you a big deep dive behind the curtain, just lots of odds and ends, stuff that's been going on in my mind with the save game. In terms of the team for today's game, this is probably, dare I say, our best 11. You know, no, changed my mind. Musiala's coming in for Willock to play the Mazzala on support. This is a role that he can really do quite well for us. I do think he's better than Willock, at least on paper. But the rest of the team is just full strength. This is a very rare occasion. This is the best possible team I could have to take on Leeds at home. As I mentioned, a win here, we'd go 2 points ahead of them with 2 games in hand. Suddenly, the Champions League looks really, really likely. And whilst it might be a bit premature to describe this as a must-win, this is certainly the kind of game that when I look at, if we want to get top 4, it's critical that we at least come away with something. I feel like Leeds in this save game have been a bit of an enemy to us. You might remember last year we took them on and we beat them 3-2 in a live com. That was a double header where we also took on Leicester. I feel like they've only got better since then with their team. But at home, I'm hoping that we're going to do okay. I talked about possession being important. They've had 60% of it after 15 minutes, but they're not doing anything with it. And now we have a corner. Almada, the set-piece demon himself. Back post, Calvert-Lewin. Free header. Probably should be doing a little bit better than that. But the early signs, even if we're not having that much of the ball, the game plan's working. Okay, Dallas is on the side of the pitch here. They're going to take this set piece. Maybe we can make the man advantage matter. Elsewhere, Ayling's also picked up a knock. So clearly we're roughening them up a little bit. Leeds have not created much here, but they might have a chance. And, they were down a man on the pitch. It's their second shot of the game. We've played quite well, all things considering, but unfortunately, after 35 minutes, they go a goal up. Corner for us. Almada on the far side, whips it in. Calvert-Lewin finds his head on it. 9th goal of the season for him. Maybe he's back. Don't call it a comeback yet, but he's looked good. And great to see Almada bagging another assist. We talked about him being the set-piece demon. He has been a player that we lacked last year, and he's kind of emerged in the team this year as our go-to centre attacking mid. I thought Musiala would be that man. He's had so many issues with injuries. St. Maximin's not wowed me when he's played there after a good start. Almada has kind of just found himself on his own in that area, and I mean, he's quickly just cementing his place as one of the most important players in our first team. Anyway, they've made a change at the back. They've brought in Palina in for the injured Ayling. Dallas is soldiering on at the moment, so with their relatively small squad, maybe we could injure a few of Leeds' players. I did notice their team, I think, only has 21 players in it. So if we give them a few injuries, might make the top 4 battle that little bit more easy. Anyway, we're going to look to play it out from the back here. You can see with the 3 at the back, the way that they press, there's always one of our centre-backs free. And there's also a lot of space here for Michaelenko, the left-back, who's looked very good this season, whips it in. And we hit the outside of the post with Calvert-Lewin there. Adeyemi's not had a very good game. And given how well Barbosa's done, I'm just going to throw in Gabby. Gabby's been surprisingly good as of late. He's been in red-hot form. It's a bit unfortunate that I can't stick 3 strikers on the pitch. In a game like this, more than happy to throw him on relatively early, give him free rein to show us what he's made of. I am someone who, in Football Manager, really does value form. I feel like players, they go through good patches, they go through bad patches. For players struggling, sometimes the best thing to do is just drop them for a match. Give them a chance to rest up. Give them a chance to realise the error of their ways, and often players will come back stronger. Anyway, Almada dinks it forward. Calvert-Lewin one-on-one. Can he take it round the keeper? He can't. Blazes the effort over. And, well, we caught them out there. One of the best chances we've had. It goes way over the bar, but maybe we can craft out something better here. Musiala dinks it back post. Calvert-Lewin finds the back of the net eventually. I've got to say, the initial save by the goalkeeper here was absolutely bonkers. Messier is going to feel so unfortunate here that this has ended up in the back of the net. Michaelenko gives it to Almada. It's forward to Musiala, who are playing in that Mazzala role. Whips it in on his left foot. Calvert-Lewin gets his noggin on it. It was dealt with initially, but he finds the back of the net with the second attempt. We're 2-1 up. I don't really want to change anything. We're playing really, really well here. This is a Leeds team that thrive in possession, create a lot. They're not doing anything. Thiago Almada's over a free kick. I'm starting to believe he's going to score every highlight that I see. I need to calm down. With 20 minutes left of this game, I'm just going to slow down the game a little bit. And the reason I'm going to do that is because Leeds like to play very, very quickly. We know they have this great stamina. They have this great work rate. When we have the ball, we can chill a little bit. Let's let them knock it around, but not chase the game. I think that's really important, actually, this year, especially with our squad where we don't have a load of stamina. That looked like a really bad tackle. Referee, is that a red for Rodrigo? I think it might be. It looked bad, didn't it? There was lots of rolling around. The red is brandished and handed out. And there's 10 minutes left. We're up a man. Llorente's on a 5.9. He has had a proper Western super. And I'm quite content watching this clock trickle down. It's going to hit 94. We are going to end up winners here. And in what was potentially a very tricky game, we made things look very, very simple. Calvert-Lewin picks up man of the match with a 9.1. Almada was superb again. Great performance by Musiala and Zakaria at the back. And Michaelenko ending on a 7.2. He has been just slow and steady at left back. More reliable than last year's left back, Jamal Lewis. I feel like he doesn't really get enough praise, Michaelenko, but he's doing a very good job. Almado's going to be out for a day or two. We can live with that. Calvert-Lewin, 2 goals to his name. Very, very pleased with you, mate. And we make that 6 games in a row without losing. I think last time we were wrapping up the episode, we were losing a 6-game unbeaten run. We're back up to 6 games unbeaten. And looking at the fixtures ahead, there is going to be a tricky patch coming up. I'm looking at Liverpool, Man City, thinking you guys are going to be rough. But I do think that's when we're going to be back next time. All in all, though, things looking particularly good here. We're playing some nice football. We're still making little micro adjustments, trying to optimise the way that we play. I think against Leeds there, we looked absolutely top draw. We find ourselves in the top 4. Next time out, we take on Man City and Liverpool. Last time we played those 2 teams, we avoided defeat in both of them last season. And of course, we've still got the European knockouts to look forward to in a somewhat distant future. If you've gotten to the end of the video, make sure to drop a like on it. Thank you for watching as always. We are back again tomorrow. And well, until then, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.